What's up, Redskins Nation? It's Redskins Fans Unite, and do not know what that was, but what I do know is that I'm finally back. I said I was going to make a YouTube video recapping each and every one of our games, but as much as I want to deny it, I think I'm officially going to have to become a Rant channel, because what I just saw was not good. It was ugly. It was nothing new, and that's not good enough. That's not pleasing enough to us Redskins fans that deserve something better, something new, something exciting, and we deserve some victories from this team against adversity, against teams that have the edge. I mean, I know many expected the Raiders to blow us out, but since then, the Chiefs, we could have beaten them. We could have beaten Philly if we held on to the lead. We could have held on to this lead against Dallas. And the errors and faults and the reasons that we have come up short all are the same every single time. And it's just disgusting football. And I mean, I know league analysts are going to say, well, the Redskins, they had so many injuries, the rain, they can't, I mean, nobody's as good when they're playing in the rain, but when you're a fan like me and like many of the other Redskins fans that are disheartened by this loss, and many of the other Redskins fans that quite frankly deserve more, look at it from a completely different lens. You see, the lens that I look at it through, and I hope many of you look at it through, is that we can't make excuses for ourselves, we can't make excuses for the injuries, we can't make excuses for the refs, we can't make excuses for any of the conditions. For every single week, we have a shot to put a W in the column. Every single week, we have a chance to win the game. Every single week, including today against Dallas. We were in front of our home crowd, and though we had most of our offensive line injured, there were many drop passes that were infuriating, many missed throws by Kirk Cousins, many just bad decisions on the offensive side of things, like all of those cute little checkdowns to Chris Thompson that I've seriously had enough of, because that seems to be like the only thing that Kirk Cousins can really do against a defense in the frickin' fourth quarter. I mean, granted, he had the nice touchdown pass to Josh Doxson, but that was a gimme thank you to the refs, because, honestly, we've been, if anything, helped by the refs this season, because remember those 3 penalties at the beginning of the Eagles game, 3 penalties that set them up with a 3rd and 30. We get the interception, and we even get the touchdown, I believe, on the first drive. We score on 6 straight opening drives, but from then on, we have been unable to finish. We almost lost to the Niners, we almost lost to the Rams. I mean, those were good wins. Those are great wins for us. I was really happy that we were able to squeeze those out. But just, it never seems like we're able to completely control a game ever. I mean, yeah, we had the game against the Raiders, but that's a 1 out of 7 chance. A 1 out of 7 chance. And that doesn't come with good teams. Good teams can be in control and stay in control throughout the entire game. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm not going to say they're a good team because I hate them to death, but they were in control of that game. Every single freaking handoff, our defenders were just getting plowed over by Ezekiel Elliott for an extra yard. Alfred Morris was getting a few good runs. I mean, Dallas Cowboys had a lot of penalties on them today, but we didn't have a lot of penalties on ourselves, and we couldn't. We had plenty of gimmies for the refs, and just one little mistake just threw us off our entire game. Let me note out, on 3rd and 6, people are going to note out that series where Nick Rose missed the field goal because it was blocked by whoever blocked it, and Orlando Scandrick ran it all the way back towards the goal line of Dallas or whatever. But on the play before, we could have picked up some extra yards, possibly gotten a first down. That was like the first time Kirk Cousins missed a blatantly open receiver. Jordan Reed was open in the flats on that play, and instead he bought some extra time. He had plenty of time to throw it away even, but he took the sack, and then Cameron just died. Sorry about that. But what I was saying was that Nick Rose, he had been 3 for 3 heading into that kick, and I was like, okay, we can make this go up 16-7. I was like heading up to that point, I was like really amped up. I was really fired up about the game going on. I was like, yes, we can upset the Cowboys. And my friends won't call me idiots for picking the Redskins to win this game, right? But that's not the way it happened because, Dallas Cowboys are always going to get the ball back, and freaking Ezekiel Elliott's going to be Mr. Automatic because, whenever he has the freaking ball in his hands, apparently he has to gain freaking yardage, and, apparently every time Dak Prescott has the football in his hands, he has to have momentum because, he's just a clean, perfect quarterback, babyface. You can't hurt a babyface, can you? No. Just seems like every freaking time we can't force them backwards. We can't stop them from lunging from extra yards. We can't send a message to anybody. We barely even tried to run the ball, even though, we didn't have much of an O-line. Gonna have to probably throw the ball, which I can understand. But Rob Kelly, aside from the 10-yard gain at the end of the game, he had 7 carries for 9 yards? That's what I checked mid-third quarter or something like that. That's what the stat sheet looked like. And though I'm not really a stats guy, I'm going to say 7 carries for 9 yards isn't anything special. All these little screen passes. I was like, maybe this would be a good day to run some screens, but it got to the point where we ran too many cute little short passes that the Cowboys were like, okay, just run these. We're not gonna be beaten by this. This team is a bunch of softies. I would have wanted to describe them as something way worse, but I try to keep my videos clean and free of profanity, so yeah, I'm the opposite of EDP. I'll tell you, he saw the Eagles game as being a trap game against the 49ers, and y'all saw how that went. The Eagles are another team that's really, I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed with them, even though I think we should have beaten them. Because, the Eagles are probably my least hated team in the division. And, yeah, it's always been that way. Because I remember one night when I was, 6, I remember I saw them beat Dallas on, a Sunday night game. I forget which year it was or something, but I just remember we had a bunch of people over. We were watching it on the big screen in the basement. It was awesome watching the Cowboys lose because I hated Dallas. I've always hated Dallas. And I hope all you Redskins fans have always hated Dallas too. But the point I want to make is that, let me just wrap it up with this. I'm disappointed in the efforts that this team has given. I said at the beginning of the season, this is the year that we overcome adversity. And now I'm going to add this to it. We gotta rebuild, because if we see nothing new from Jay Gruden, if we see nothing new from Kirk Cousins, if we see nothing new from the offense, if we see nothing new with the excuses from the refs, the injuries, the conditions, blah blah blah. If we see nothing new in terms of that standpoint. If we see nothing new in terms of defense, which actually played pretty well. Josh Norman didn't allow any catches from what I saw. But if we see nothing new, then why continue? Because it's just going to be disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, year in, year out, week in, week out, game in, game out. And that's what it's all going to come down to. And that's why the Redskins are not going anywhere this year, because I don't really see... And at one point I was mad at my friend for calling the Redskins an embarrassment to the NFL, but honestly, they're more than an embarrassment to just their fans based on what they showed us today. They have no resiliency, excuse me. They're not prepared for when they're down against a better team with better momentum, right, so to speak. They're just not good enough. They're not prepared enough. They're not strong enough. They're not physical enough. They're not fast enough. They're not intimidating enough. And as much as people saw us going places after what we showed at the beginning of the season against Oakland, with the potential to become the #1 team in the league with a win against Kansas City, it's not happening anymore because we lost to Kansas City, we had a bye week, and then we managed to beat the Niners. But then the Eagles game, which was on my birthday, no wins there. Just a bunch of little cute garbage time passes from Kirk Cousins, who played a lot like Blake Bortles that night. I don't really know. I mean, Kirk Cousins can have all the stats he wants. I just don't see any heroism in him. I don't see, at least from what I've seen tonight. I know he can play heroic like he did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He made a few good throws in the first half. He did. But in the second half, all he did was cute little dump-offs to Crowder, dump-offs to Thompson. Reed was injured. These players somebody has to draw the line with the excuses with all these players getting injured. These players gotta stay healthy, I mean, that, as much as I'd say the result wouldn't have been different if it was that way, they at least gotta try and stay healthy for the sake of their team, for the sake of their fans, and for the sake of themselves. At some point, the Redskins just gotta draw the line with all this bullcrap, alright? I'd love to have just lost it and gone off, but I think I'm just going to end it here. Don't want this rant to carry on for too long. But next video I upload will probably be another rant because, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm probably just going to convert to a full-time ranting channel because I don't really see any other way I would be able to. Because I don't want to just type out a long Instagram caption because it's not worth my time. Alright. Let's hope we can somehow win against Seattle next week, although I don't see it happening. Look forward to going 3-5. Well, have a wonderful day, and I hope you all get some good night's sleep.